can tell me now if I blew it.
No, I
Did
think
I blow
it was great.
What's your response?
Oh my god, I just sat down with the Hulk. It was amazing. I just sat down with the Incredible Hulk. Shook his hand, got a photo. Yeah. I have Lou Ferrigno's DNA on me.
Must go clone it.
Should we clone it? Should we put it under gamma rays?
No, it's like Highlander. There can be only one.
There can be only one.
This is the Maxx is Super Awesome Comic Review Show!
Comic Review Show.
Comic Review Show! Welcome to another episode of the Maxx is Super Awesome Comic Review Show. We can all breathe a collective sigh of relief. June has come and gone, and we are now in July. Before we get into the notables and the new releases and the top fives for the first week of July, I want to say thank you very much to the Catfish and to the Off-Camera Voice for their wonderful work down at the Albuquerque Comic Expo that happened just this past weekend. I hope that you all had a chance to check out some of that awesome footage. First up on our notable list, it's Southern Bastards by Jason Aaron. It's his new creator-owned book from Image. We talk about it. We're going to continue to talk about it until the entire world is reading it because it's fantastic, and everybody should read it. Up on next on the list of notables. Whew, yeah, speaking of this one, so it is like Guardians of the Galaxy week this week. The only Guardians of the Galaxy book that didn't come out this week is Guardians of the Galaxy. But there were three other Guardians of the Galaxy books, and one of them made it into the notables. It's Guardians of the Galaxy's Most Wanted. It was a fun little adventure featuring Rocket Raccoon and Groot. The raccoon finds himself in lots of trouble and looks like Groot's...
Shocking!
Yeah, I know. I mean, you gotta love Rocket Raccoon for being
Rocket
snarky and Rocket Raccoon. I mean, the guy's basically my animal spirit. Lastly, on our list of notables, and this one was probably the most, I don't know, they were all fun. This one was a lot of fun, though. It's Deadpool versus X-Force. This is the next installment in the Deadpool versus, canon that's going on. This one, however, not written by Colin Bunn. It's got a new creative team on it. Did a great job. Deadpool goes back in time to try and stop a murder that happened in the future, but ends up going rogue, and so Cable and the X-Force have to go back and stop him. Note to readers, though, this takes place prior to New Mutants 98, so it's technically Cable and the New Mutants, and Deadpool and Cable have not met yet, and that is why they are fighting. So, there's that. For everyone that was wondering why Deadpool and Cable, who are besties, would end up fighting with each other. There's no way you're 62.
What could you lift 20 years ago?
I know.
I have one other question for you. You're also a member of law enforcement.
What's the name?
Law enforcement? Mm-hmm. You do some deputy...
Right, I'm a deputy. I've been a deputy sheriff
yeah.
for 10 years. And I take a serious. This is not making a movie. When you're out in the field with a bulletproof vest, you gotta be careful. I mean, you don't know who you're dealing with. So I'm just taking a big risk.
Yeah. How did you get involved in that? I mean, obviously, was it like giving back to the community or?
My father was a lieutenant at NYPD. So one time, about 10 years ago, talking to Sheriff Baca, who was the sheriff of LA Sheriff's Department. I was telling him about it. He said, why don't you join the academy? So I took 6 months out of my life, no parents, no nothing. I went through the academy, overstudying, shooting, driving, and then to become a certified deputy sheriff. It was one of the hardest things I've done because of like going back to school full time and considering that I had to focus nothing but study about the different elements of the department. It changed my life tremendously because it gets me to see, I get to see the other side of what people, how they perceive, how they act, how to deal with people like crowd control, crime situation. I do a lot of search and rescue in the mountains, for example, dealing with motorcycle accidents, suicide, robbery, theft, jumping out of helicopters.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That's cool. No pun intended.
No.
It is time for the top 5. Coming in at number 5, it is Future's End issue number 9. This definitely my favorite issue of Future's End so far, after what was a very long and somewhat drawn out build up to the story. Things are finally starting to move along. Grifter is now in deep with Cadmus and with Slade Wilson. The Atom and Frankenstein and Hawkman continue to try and figure out what happened to Stormwatch. You get to see Superman doing a little bit of action. I mean, and you get a larger sense of this war with Earth 2 that happened and is going to happen. We are going to see that coming up in the future when Earth 2 turns into a weekly book for a couple of months. So very, very excited. I feel like finally, I feel like the future is ending, but also, you know, it's full of hope and new beginnings. So coming in at number 4, it has been the darling of the comic universe since it came out. It is Original Sin by none other than Jason Aaron. So Original Sin number 5, we get to go deep into the secret files of the actual Nick Fury's backstory, which is where we left off at issue 4. We get to see some awesome stuff there. We get to see a lot of things get killed and blown up and destroyed and lots of metaphors. This book is full of action and deep thought all at once.
Action, but no deep thought.
Yes. At number 3, action, indeed, very little deep thought. It is Legendary Star-Lord, issue number 1, from the pages of Guardians of the Galaxy. Definitely helps if you've been reading Guardians of the Galaxy. Not entirely necessary to be able to enjoy Legendary Star. I mean, you haven't read much of the Guardian stuff. You read a little bit of the Angela story, but how'd you feel about Legendary Star-Lord there?
It was funny.
It was funny. It was funny. I mean, Peter Quill's going to be funny.
Yeah.
But I'm, like, pumped for the movie now. I was pumped before, too.
Let's move on to what I'm really pumped for.
It is Hack / son of...
Samhain.
Gaelic. That's almost a dead language.
No.
As Scottish, I should be a little bit more saddened by that, but maybe I'll learn how to speak it.
Cassie Hack is out of retirement.
Cassie Hack, she's in retirement at the start of the book. She's just being a regular old bounty hunter. And all of a sudden, you know, just when you thought she was out, the life pulls her back in. And she teams up with old hillbilly western boy there.
How could you not?
Yeah. Oh, when that guy shows up and is like, hey, you want to team up with my 6-gun wheeling, cigar-smoking, cowboy hat-wearing self? And she's like, yeah, I got a bat with some nails in it. Let's do this. To go confront an evil from millennia ago. Wonderful, though. I believe it's going to be a 6-issue miniseries. All right, it's time for number 1. We've beat around the bush long enough. Number 1 is no surprise.
The bushy tail? Beat around the bushy tail?
We beat around the bushy tail enough. Thank you for saving me there with something cleverer than I thought of. It's no surprise here. Scotty Young, for the first time, writing his own series as well as illustrating it. It is Rocket Raccoon, issue number 1. Huzzah! Big shocker there. Hilarious. Rocket Raccoon goes on a date, moves a princess.
Saves a princess.
Does
Rocket Raccoon
hunted
things.
by blows stuff up.
We should have had Foxy on this episode.
You know, Foxy called me and was like, hey! And I was like, yo! And he's like, I'm going to be there next week. I'm like, Foxy, you should be here this week.
What's he going to be here next week for?
Enormous.
Not for Rocket Raccoon?
Not for Rocket Raccoon. I'm sure he'll have some thoughts on Rocket Raccoon.
I'm sure Rocket
Raccoon's
going to have beef.
Yeah. Wait, why would Foxy have beef with Rocket Raccoon?
No, Rocket Raccoon is going to have beef with Foxy for not thinking that he's good enough.
Maybe.
Fact.
Maybe.
I don't think Rocket Raccoon just writes angry letters.
But no, Foxy will be here next week, so we are very excited for that. But back to this week. That is your top 5. We have a cutaway, and stay tuned for something about graphic novels. Welcome back. I'm very excited for this week's graphic novel lineup after what was a little bit of a lull the last couple of weeks. This week we have 4 graphic novels I'm super excited to talk about. First up on the list, it is A Voice in the Dark, Volume 1, trade paperback. Amazing book. Amazing story about the author for the book, too. So,
check him out.
You were...
College girl meets Dexter.
Yeah.
Like, is essentially that
That's a
story.
good... Maybe I'll have you do some more summaries for me. Just kidding. Don't get your hopes up.
Oh, wah wah.
Wah, wah. Sad off voice camera. And also the back has a little sketch spot. So if you ever get a chance to get it signed, you can get a little sketch. Next up on graphic novels is X-Files Conspiracy. This has parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in it. So it's the entirety of all the X-Files Conspiracy stuff. This tied together the entire IDW universe, Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, Transformers, and X-Files all into one big giant lone gunman conspiracy. Hence the title, X-Files Conspiracy. It's fantastic. Don't miss out on it. Next, we have Thanos Rising, out in hardcover, written by who other than Jason Aaron. Seems to be a theme of the evening. For her kiss, he would lay waste to the universe. That is Thanos. And death. But this is going to be the origins of Thanos. It's going to go into his childhood, and you learn why he became the despotic Titan ruler that he is. Awesome stuff. Don't skip it. You're going to want to read it, especially when Thanos hits the movies. It's going to be amazing. Last, but obviously most important, and this isn't just me being greedy here, it is the Maxximized hardcover Volume 1. This collects the cult classic Sam Keith, the Maxx series, that they've been recoloring and re-editing as the Maxximized. So this is going to be the first 5 issues collected in this hardcover here. It's gorgeous. It's incredibly well bound, and I mean, being recolored, I was comparing my reissues with my original issues just for grins and giggles the other day, and yeah, it actually substantially better looking in higher definition and with better coloring. So the Maxx, it's a cult classic. That's gonna do it for your graphic novels. We will be right back with some words of the show.
Words of the show.
Words of the show.
I'm Sarah Richard. I'm a freelance artist. I do a lot of work on My Little Pony, the variant covers, and I also have a kids book called Kitty and Dino. It was nominated for an Eisner last year. And yeah, I do arts. This Sunday I'm doing some mashups. I have like an R2-D2 C-3PO inspired dress, Ariel and Ursula kind of put together, and then also a 10th Doctor and a Dalek kind of all together. But yeah, every Sunday I try to do a new one, and I'm gonna be putting them in a book, hopefully by San Diego, so definitely stay tuned.
Hello, and welcome to our final segment of today's episode. Sometimes episode.
This morning. Happy morning.
An episode that we are filming, and this is the final segment of it. This is Words of the Show.
Because we're going somewhere after.
We are going somewhere.
Are we?
I thought Ace was going to
Are we all going out tonight?
Oh, are we? Sweet. Anyway.
Somewhere air conditioned.
It's hot in here.
I have a couple of actual notes for Words of the Show. These are actually important things, so you should pay attention to them. July 11th.
What a date.
Longtime Astro Zombies friend and friend of the Maxx Super Awesome Comic Book Review Show, Lee Luna, is going to be doing a Twitter interview with Go Comics to promote her book, Clementine Fox. It's an amazing book. She's an amazing artist, and you should all log on to Twitter and read that interview because it's going to be awesome. And then, at the end of this month, July 26th, Astro Zombies will be having its first HeroClix Day, brought to you by our very own HeroClix Club. So if you haven't played HeroClix with them before, they play every Friday night. It'll be, I believe, a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. I don't know what day the 26th is. Anyway, so if you've never played HeroClix before, they're a great group of people to learn how to play HeroClix with. If you're a veteran, it'll be a good competition for you. But mostly, it's just going to be a lot of awesome fun.
Will you be there?
I will be at work, here, next door.
What time does it end?
I don't know. It's in the afternoon.
So it doesn't go on past work?
Probably not.
If you could go, would you?
Yeah, I'll
What would-
totally go.
Well, how many HeroClix do you have?
I have 7.
How do they work? How do they click? How do the heroes
They have a
click?
little dial, and every time that you take damage, you click it based on the number of damage that you take. So
Every time you take damage,
So-
you must click it.
I'm just
you
kidding.
know, the nerdy things that I've seen at your house. How many Monster High dolls do you own?
It's in the hundreds. It's,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
a little...
This conversation is over. Oh, that is going to do it for this week's episode of the Maxx Super Awesome Comic Review Show. Stay tuned for some final words on Ace, and I will see you next week. And until then,
Stay frosty.
that's right.
I hate myself.
DVD, like we'll make like 100 copies or whatever.